All right, so we just wasted 10 minutes having a personal conversation that won't be aired, so we'll start now. Um, okay. Hey, everybody, all you little philosophers out there, welcome to another episode of The Fake Philosophers. I am one of
Thank
your
you.
hosts, Mike.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I'm Mitch. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
Uh, Mike is married.
got married, yeah. Ring it.
I talked about you last week when I was all alone, and
Oh.
I was reflecting on it. Didn't reflect very much about it. I was like, I got bored thinking about you and started talking about myself most of the time. So
That's, I think, what my lady did during her speech is the same thing.
Oh, okay. So
Well, hold on.
I want to talk.
We'll talk
go
about
ahead.
the wedding. First, a happy story the last day, 'cause sometimes we get real cynical.
Before we talk about the wedding, let's talk about a happy story.
Well, no. Anytime we always bring up cynical shit, so I'm like, wait, hold on, because this just happened, and literally as we started the recording that no one will hear, I got breaking news on the story. So last night, one of my sisters in Rancho texts the family, like a group text, saying like, I found this dog's in our backyard, sweetheart dog, but like he can't stay here because like the dog she has is like a male who's very like, what is it,
Rapey?
territorial.
Oh,
And so she's like, they'll either fight, like he's either try to jump this dog or he's gonna piss everywhere. Like I can't keep him, but like he's a sweetheart. I just can't keep him. My other sister in Rancho was like, she owns 2 pits, and they're both female. And this dog kind of looked like a pit mix. And she's like, I can't keep them. I would, but I can't keep them because I have 2 pits, and they're women, they're girls. And this pit's a male, and he's clearly young. Like it's not a good combination. So I was like,
I mean, I don't know. It kind of sounds like you and your sisters.
yeah, except I'm not a dog who might hump them.
Oh, yeah.
My mom's from Alabama.
Yeah.
So so I live like 30 minutes away, and like I'll say Erica, I've never really said her name on air just in case, but Erica and I were kind of going through like gifts, fixing shit, putting it around the house, and we had been drinking, so I was like, check it out. If one of you want to drive here, I'll take the dog for a couple days.
No.
And so they're like, okay. And so Erica's parents' dog has already like attacked me a few times because it's like a rescue dog that's like has fucking trauma. We think I look like the person who beat the shit out of him.
Oh.
So then my mom's like,
Was
Mike,
was that the dog I met at the at No Clue that one time?
no. Erica's parents never brought a dog to No Clue.
You had a dog for a while that you brought.
The lab?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that dog is passed.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Anyway, no, so my mom texted me. She's like, "Hey, this is clearly like at least like part pit, and if it's like a rescue, like you already have a history of a rescue dog attacking you, like this could be a bad news." And so like even my sisters were like, "No, like he's a sweetheart," because my second sister actually picked him up. She's like, "He's a sweetheart. You played with my kid. Like this is one of the nicest fucking dogs." So my sister drove all the way out here. She kind of hung out with us for like 20 to 30 minutes to make sure this dog wasn't a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
And so the dog was a sweetheart, got along, wanted to do nothing but play fetch, like to a fault. This dog would literally bring the ball up to you and like drop it in front of you. And if you didn't pick it up, he would pick it up and like drop it again. Like, let's fucking do this. Really nice dog. So once we were comfortable with it, Beth, my sister, left. And so he's chilling. And then like half an hour after she leaves, my other sister hits us up, say, "Hey, I found," because I guess there's a website where you could like post, or an app where you could post like lost dogs. And like a lot of people are on it. And so one person responded and they gave us a name, and the dog didn't respond really to it. And it was whatever. And so then later, that happened when my sister was still with us. When she left, like 30 minutes later, she hit again. She goes, "Hey, look at this photo." And it was 2 of them, and one of them looked exactly like him. And I was like, "Oh, I think that's him." And she's like, "His name is Nash. Try Nash." And immediately I just said Nash out loud, and he like looked over, like, "Huh?" Well, we fucking got him. We got him. Cool.
Yeah.
So she gave me the guy's number, and I called him, and I was like, "Hey, yeah, so I'm in Azusa, a little far." I was like, "I'm not gonna drive him back right now, but like I can keep him overnight, and I can bring him back." Pretty much, he's right down the street from the first sister. He gave me his address. I know where it is. And I was like, my bar's right around the corner. Like I could just drive and drop him up in the morning. He's like, "Yeah, cool. If you don't mind, like, are you okay with that?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." And he was like, "Okay, yeah, because if you saw the photo, there was 2 of them that got out." And so pretty much, I guess what he said was they have like the GPS collars. So he took the GPS collars off to charge, and they left the house to go to a movie. They came back, and the door was pushed open. So they don't know what happened, but the dogs got out. And I was like, oh, it's a bummer. He's like, yeah, so if you don't mind, if you could watch him tonight, so that way we can just go look for the other dog. And I was like, great, that's fine. And this dog, if the owner, we did not find the owner, I would have fucking kept this dog. This dog was a fucking sweetheart. Like he jumped up on the couch with me, was just fucking cuddling. He was playing with his ball the whole time. And then so early this morning, he was like, because for my old dog, I have a bed. He slept on the dog bed. And this morning he woke up before us with his fucking ball, threw the ball in the bed, like wanting us to throw it to him. And when we didn't, he like kind of jumped front paws up and like grabbed the ball and threw it at us again. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. And so then he finally just jumped up on the bed and came and started cuddling up on Erica.
No.
So he was just like adorable. And then Erica took him out to use the restroom because she gets up first, and then brought him back, and he just jumped up on the bed with me and was just like, my dog, I'm not sure if you heard dog, but like my dog used to, like, if I was sleeping and she wanted to go out, she would come and fucking wake me up.
Oh, yeah.
Or do something. This dog was chilling. He was not even trying to get up. He was chilling the entire time. And so I got up and I just kind of was like, hey, I went to go use the restroom. I was like, stay. And he was like, okay, and just kind of laid down. So I used the restroom, brushed my teeth, did everything, didn't move a muscle. And I was like, dude, I wish the owner never found him. This is like an already trained dog.
Yeah.
I was like, this would be perfect. But anyway, so
he's done all the work.
Yeah, it would have been perfect. Like, this dog is amazing. Even Erica was like sad to see him go. We were like, oh, and it was less than 12 hours that we had.
It's like you got like John Wick vibes, you know, in the first act of John Wick, where it's like,
that was great.
All right, dog, stay, and the dog stayed, and you know, it was good.
It was great. And so then
did the Russians kill it? Was that the update or what?
That was the update. No, so I took it back this morning. And the guy, I talked to him briefly, and he's like, was there any trouble? I was like, nah, like, he was cool. And he's like, he was adorable, like, jumped up on the bed, cuddled with us. I was like, he was an amazing dog. And I was like, have you found the other one yet? And he's like, not yet. He's like, I might drive around and look around again, but, like, you know, at this point, what can I do? Just keep driving around? Like, that's kind of... I was like, yeah, I feel you. So, you know, I left, went to work, and then just before we started, my sister texted me again, and somebody found the other dog. So... heartwarming story.
Yay.
Dogs found.
Good. Aw.
Yeah.
Yay. You're little running with someone else's life, you know? And it was good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was awesome.
That's
the dog was amazing.
Sweet. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Are you guys thinking about getting a dog?
So we're thinking about it. We really want one just right now. Like, it's what's the term? I forgot the fuck. We both have jobs where, like, we can't work from home.
Right, yeah.
So it's kind of, it'd be really difficult if we had a dog that wasn't trained, and then we would have to, like, leave it by itself, either in a crate or in a cage. And so I know she's thinking about getting a job where she works from home, and if that's the case, we'll probably get a dog pretty quick.
Sweet, yeah.
But until then, it'd be fucking horrible to crate train a dog where it's in the crate for like 7 hours, 8 hours a day.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Be
yeah,
fucked up. So until then,
we're probably going to be getting a cat or a couple cats. I want 2 cats. But we're definitely going to at least get a cat in the next month or 2 here.
Low maintenance. Yeah.
Yeah, low maintenance. And I wanted to get 2 so they keep each other company while we're working. I would really want a dog. I love both, but I prefer dogs.
I do too.
But I don't want to get a dog without a yard. And it's like, okay, we're in an apartment, so that's you know, I mean, if I rescued a dog, I'm already giving it a better life. It would have had whatever, but it.
I mean, there are some dogs, depending on what kind of dogs you want. Like, there are some dogs that are actually really good in apartments and by themselves.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But I like bigger dogs. Like, I like, you know. So, and that's why I'd be like, it'd be great to get like, and you know, I want like, you know, a husky, or my favorite dog is a Bernese Mountain Hound. And they're really furry, and it's just like, nah, they need a yard, and they need a cool big yard to run in. And anyway,
that's what I know.
But that's coming up.
Yeah, she's always liked German Shepherds, and you've seen our yard. Like, it's not a, we have a yard, but still like a German Shepherd. You kind of need to give them space to run, and we don't have that. Our yard is small.
You do have the square footage though. I mean, I know you don't have the biggest yard, but you have a pretty big house, and that combined could give it a lot of room.
Maybe. I still think it's workable, but I know she grew up with German Shepherds, so she's the one saying, like, nah, I don't think it'll work. But I think we compromise.
Oh, okay.
So I love labs.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I think we would probably get a lab because it's easy to train, really nice dogs. So
yeah, labs are great. I had a lab. It was a nightmare. It was a half German Shepherd, half lab, and it was a nightmare dog.
The German Shepherd half is probably the nightmare because I've heard German Shepherds are great once they're trained.
Oh yeah, no, this dog humped everything. It was great, but no, yeah, but yeah, we want to get kitties. That'll be great. But yeah, hey, speaking of dogs and cats and the birds and the bees and men and women. Little Mikey, Mr. Glenny over here, Mr. Mike Glenny.
Yeah,
he's a married man. I like that. Probably was like my favorite part of the night of your wedding. One of my favorite nights was at the very end when we were saying goodbye, and you cupped my face, and you were like, Mr. Michael Glenny. It's got a nice ring to it, and I was cracking up. Well, I was like trying to hide it, but I was laughing. But
so, what was the reason why I made a point to do that was because I remember.
Do you remember it?
I do. No, because when I proposed, because everybody was there when I proposed at the house.
Yeah.
I actually had that in the back of my head. I was like, I need to nail this office quote.
Yeah.
The night of the proposal, because that's what happened in the show. And I completely dropped the ball the night of the proposal. I think it was the next day. I was like, oh, fuck, I didn't say it. I was like, fuck.
I remember it. I remember that. It was 4th of July last year. Mm-hmm. There was fireworks and all that. And I remember when you proposed. And afterwards, I was like, oh, should I do the line? No, he's got to do the line. That's, Okay.
And I had it planned. I was going to do the line that night. And it didn't happen. So I was like, okay, I got to do it at the wedding. I think I completely forgot about it. That when you were saying you were leaving, I was like, oh, no, I got to do the line.
That's so good.
And then so good. And somebody recorded it. I'm not sure if it was your wife or it might have been Lauren, our friend Lauren.
It was Lauren, yeah.
Someone recorded it, and I was like, I got to get that video. It's beautiful. So that I have it.
Yeah. Not going to share it. Oh, you do? Okay.
No, I said I got to get the video from her.
Oh, okay. No, I saw that she posted the picture of it.
Yeah.
No, yeah. Okay, so wedding reviews. I've not been to very many. I've been to a few weddings. Some good, some bad. And I got to say, yours is probably one of my favorite weddings I've ever been to.
We were fortunate. We got a lot of good feedback. My comments on it were, it's kind of like a play where some of the stuff behind the scenes went wrong, but the audience didn't see it.
100%. Yeah.
So the audience was like, oh, this is amazing. Whereas there were parts where I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is not right, but no one knows.
Well, let's go through the whole thing to the build up to the whatever. I'm like, sure. I felt bad because I flew in basically the night before, so I missed the rehearsal.
Yeah.
I missed most of the festive. I missed the bachelor party. I missed a lot, and but I got in for the event. And everyone was like, when I first got there, everyone was just like chill. Everyone was like going with it. I was expecting like a bit of neuroticism because theater people, they're always like a little bit crazy before an event. But
yeah, and so for me, just a quick kind of funny anecdote. You may have heard this when we were talking before the ceremony. So there was a time pre-COVID, a long time ago, where me and my girl,
long time ago,
feels like a long time ago. My lady and I were driving out of San Diego for the weekend. And like, I'm getting off the freeway in San Diego when one of our bartenders calls me. She lived really close. And I guess walking up to the building, she rolled her ankle so bad she couldn't walk.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And she's like, can you, like, I can't walk.
I do remember this story.
Yeah, okay. And then Kevin, who works in the industry, thought I was an asshole for saying it. But the response was like, I don't know what to do for you. I'm in San Diego. I don't know what to do I just don't know what to do for you.
Sorry.
So that was kind of the quote throughout the night, where if something was happening and it wasn't supposed to be happening, I would just be like, I'm in San Diego. I don't know how to help you. Like, we're just going. That was kind of like the just yes and moments of just going. So with that said,
I remember I gave you a piece of advice, and I wish I gave you the other piece of advice I gave my brother. The piece of advice I wish I would have given you, but you already kind of knew it, was I said, like, today's your day. everyone else is here watching you for your day. So don't worry about the event or what people are doing or what you're supposed to be doing. Just do your thing. Because my brother at the time was really like stressed out. Like, do I need to be here? Do I need to do that? I'm like, dude, we're here to celebrate you. Do what you want to do. But yeah, you were doing the fuck you wanted to do. You and Erica both. You both were just kind of like going with the flow as far as I can tell.
Yeah, so you weren't at the rehearsal, obviously. You flew in the night before the wedding. But at the rehearsal, it was a bit sloppy, a bit messy, because all of my friends, and even Erica's bridesmaids, everyone had like ADD. Everyone was just like fucking getting distracted. It was a bit of a mess, but that's kind of where I was just kind of like, I could either get really irritated right now, or I could just stand here and just let shit happen. And the lover of chaos took over, and I was just kind of like, I'm not going to say a fucking word.
I love it. I love it.
And so I just, so I was just kind of standing there, and even later, the coordinator, I think it was at the rehearsal dinner, because we did the rehearsal in the morning, she kind of said, she's like, I'm kind of scared of how calm you are. Because like during calls and during meetings before, I was very like almost paranoid, like wait, we can't do that because of this or that. So it was later, she's like, you were actually scary calm during the rehearsal. And I think I kind of said, I was like, well, the train's left, like the train's already left. I can't. There's not another ride available, so we're just going.
So are you or your lady? I name dropped earlier. Sorry, Erica. I think you said it. But anyway. Are you or Erica more needs to be in control of things that are happening, and are one of you more like laissez-faire, go with it kind of?
I always like having a hand on the wheel.
Okay.
Literally and metaphorically. But that's where, like I said, during the rehearsal, I was like, it's too late to change shit. And then, and not in a bad way, but like the coordinator, Erica, and a couple other people were all kind of not arguing, but like going back and forth about, wait, does this make sense? Can we do it this way? And I was like, it's just one more chef in the kitchen. And I was like, I'm just going to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Unless it was something really bad. Smart. I'm like, wait a second, maybe we should do this. But like, I was just like, I'm just going to shut the fuck up and roll with it.
Do you think that's Erica making you better, or do you think that's just experience?
In this situation?
Yeah.
I think it's just experience. Because like I said, during the planning, during certain points, I would like stop them and be like, okay, hold on. Like that's not going to work. This isn't going to work. This has to happen. But that day, I'm like, am I going to go over there and just make it worse? Though another, I don't know what the fucking phrase is, just another person talking over each other. So I was like, I'm just going to shut the fuck up.
Pile on.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm just going to shut the fuck up. And hopefully...
I'm going to write a book comparing marriage to suicide and how the final phase really is acceptance. And you just kind of get this air of happiness as you just kind of go with the chaos. And you're like, you know what? I'm in this bitch. And
yeah, and that's pretty much what it was. I was kind of like, this is what it is. And
Which is surprising because, I mean, the ceremony felt, we'll get it more into the ceremony, but the ceremony felt kind of like detailed. But everything around it felt kind of like, yeah, we'll try this, we'll try that, and if we can do this, that'll be great. So,
that makes sense.
I think you guys avoided a lot of needless stress by just kind of being like, hey, let's go with it, see how it goes. Yeah,
so that was the rehearsal, and I do remember, this is, I think, the moment I realized, like, okay, I just need to let this shit go, and whatever happens, happens. Was after the rehearsal, so I've been the groomsman in a few weddings, and... Not bragging, no big deal. No one's keeping score. But I feel like we missed a few things, and I kind of just said, I was like, should we rehearse like the grand entrance after the ceremony, all that shit? And a couple people were like, nah, we'll figure it out on the spot. And I was like, all right, okay, like, all right.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing.
I was like, here we go. Rehearsal dinner was whatever. So what else? I'm trying to think. Where'd you want to go with this?
Well, I'll tell you what was cool, like first impression kind of thing, because I got to the hotel, walked in, and one of the first things I noticed that was like kind of awesome was that your buddy Mike was there. Mike, the director, was there, and I was like, oh shit! And I got to go hang and like chat with him. The guest list was pretty freaking sweet. Hold on, I feel like I have a sneeze coming, but it's like can't decide.
That's fine.
Nope. Okay. Anyway. Our friend Jeremy was there. I haven't seen him in almost 10 years. It was been great. It was great chatting with him, catching up.
Did I tell you about how he got invited?
No.
So I've not obviously as long as you have, but I've known Jeremy for quite some time too. We met on the
since One Flew Over Cuckoo's Nest.
That or before that, the award-winning short film Drake Bash Monsterologist. So I have known him for a while, and I think I even helped you on a few Adventures of Camelot. Jeremy worked on that,
Yeah.
and I kind of worked with him a little bit. So like I've known him for a long time, and we actually went to a wedding.
I think he was at the read-through for Dinner in 45 as well.
Maybe, yeah, because I know me and Danny read for
anyway.
that, but we didn't actually do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we were at a wedding the week before mine, and we kind of knew people there, but like we hadn't seen a lot of people in a long time. So I doubt they watch this, but it's one of those groups, and I've never understood this, but I get it. I understand it. I don't agree with it. That if like you don't see them for a long time, they still love you, but you're not as much as part of the group anymore.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I could say his name, like Ricky, for instance, one of my groomsmen. He lives in Boston, so I see him maybe once a year, mostly less. But when he comes around, he's still family. Like there's no loss. But this particular group, it does feel like if you're not around them a lot, they kind of lose that connection to you. And anyway, so Eric and I just kind of sat at a table because like their table was full, and Jeremy and his wife came over and sat with us. And so we literally the entire wedding just sat there and fucked around with them.
I love it.
And so by the end of the wedding, like we're kind of like, hey, like this is kind of weird, and it's only a week out, but like some people canceled. Do you want to come to ours?
Oh, how cool!
And they were kind of like, yeah, because we were kind of talking about forced invitations and everything. And I think it was his wife was like you don't have to if you don't want to. Like we're cool. Like we're not. And I was like, no, like we have some open spots. I think it'd be fun. Fuck it. Like you want to come? Yeah. And they were just like, yeah. So I messaged them.
Cool.
Yeah, I messaged them the invite online, and Erica fixed it up and everything. So when they actually showed up, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
But anyway, so yeah, the morning of was interesting. So without going into great detail because no one cares. I left my house to get. Well, first of all, the night before was a fucking nightmare because there was a lot of shit I had to go. We had it at my bar, my restaurant. But I was
seeing the updates. I was seeing the updates as I was like at my waiting for my flight in Charlotte. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah. So granted, a few of the groomsmen came out to help me, and but like I went to the bar to move some stuff as it was closing, so that the people in the morning didn't have to move as much stuff. And so we were there probably till like 2 a.m. And then I drove home because I wasn't staying at the hotel. So I drove home about 25, 30-minute drives, and I had more shit to do like paperwork wise. So I was up to like 3:30 a.m., 4 a.m.
No.
Until I passed out on the couch, and I finally dragged myself to bed like at 5 a.m. Anyway. And so I woke up on time. I had a very calm morning. Took a nice long shower, did the shave. I took my fucking time with time to spare. I was like, great. I'm not rushed. I'm relaxing. I got everything I need. Great. I get in my car. I start driving. So it's about 5 to 10 minutes to get to the freeway. As I'm about to get to the freeway, I remembered like 3 things I forgot.
Oh, no. Okay.
And 2 of them didn't really matter as much, but one of them was my grandfather's cufflinks.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? And they're really nice cufflinks. Like, even, fuck my grandfather. They're just really nice cufflinks. No, but, so I was like, fuck, like, I have to go back. I was like, I left early. There's time. I'm going to, so flip the bitch, went back, grabbed everything. Now I'm kind of in a hurry because, like, now it's, before I was like 15 minutes out or 15 minutes early. Yeah. Now I'm like kind of on time.
Yeah.
And so I was driving in, and then I remembered again, without going into details, like, my digestive system's kind of weak, and the last thing I want is to have to like spray out of my asshole during the wedding. to paint a picture for the viewers, the listeners. So I was like, okay, I got to stop at the store and grab just some Tums or something. You know what I mean? Just
is that why all the groomsmen were wearing black on blacks to justify why you were just in total black tux, just in case you shat the pants?
This is strategy.
Okay.
No, but so I stopped at the store to get some Tums. They didn't have self-checkout. The lines were long. I was like, fuck. So I was tripping out.
Do you have a grocery gripe for your wedding day?
No, it was my fault. I wasn't prepared. They didn't have a self-checkout or a fast lane, but that's their choice.
That would have been funny. Wedding edition, grocery
Wedding
gripe.
edition. I mean, I guess I could bitch if they didn't have a fast track, but At that point, I think that was the most stressed I was at the day, just sitting in line with a fucking 1 bottle of Tums.
Yeah.
Behind this huge line, I was just like, can somebody let me cut? Could this be the movie scene where I'm like, I'm getting married, let me to the front?
And everyone there's like, bullshit.
Right. Yeah, so anyway, so I
That's a bummer, because you're showered, you're clean shaven, you're ready to go, you got your tux in the car, you're gonna go do the damn thing, and here you are waiting for a check.
Yeah. That was probably the most stressed I was. Like I said later, like once I got to the venue, or even before that, when we were at the hotel, it was pretty much like just checked out. Not checked out, but like it was like just going with it. Whatever happens,
it's in motion.
Yeah,
it's out of my hands. The wheels are in motion. Yeah.
So I got to the hotel room. It was Danny's room. Danny, a contributor to the show.
He's been on.
Yeah, I got to his room, and I felt like I was like 15, 20 minutes late, and like there was only like 3 guys in the room out of like 10, because there was 7 groomsmen, you and Kevin, and then Eddie was the officiant. But so there's only like 3 guys in the room.
We'll get into Eddie later.
Yeah. But so there's only like 3 guys in the room, and I was like, oh, so I'm not late? And they're like, well, you're kind of late because my call time. I love that we're calling it call time still. My call time is technically earlier than theirs, but so from there, getting dressed and everything. And I will say, to compliment Mitch, the pocket square, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So all the guys, even with instructions in the bag, no one knew how to do their fucking pocket square.
Yeah, there's instructions.
Yeah, but
that's why I read the goddamn instructions.
But we're men. We don't need instructions.
This is what I'm talking about. This is what I talked about last week. Nobody reads, man. Nobody reads. Just read.
So Mitch gets his down pat, and I was like, can you just help everybody? So he went around the room, kind of helping everybody. And then my mom came in. So my pocket square was just black. Everyone else was like green.
No, but this was actually really cool. I actually love this, what your mom did.
This was awesome.
Pocket square.
So she came in with a square, and so normally like the pocket squares have like the 4 different parts, and you fold it so that one shows whatever. So she comes in with a double-sided one that on one side was the Scottish clan tartan of my dad, is a Clan Macintosh, and then one of Clan Wallace, which is from my mom's side, like on back to back. So if you folded that normally, you'd only see one side of it. So I just kind of looked at Mitch, and I was like, Mitch, you're apparently the expert. Fold this fucking thing. It literally happened like that. I was like, fold this to where you could see both sides of it.
He literally turned to me and says, okay, so those are the 2 clans. Fold it so that you could see both. Here you go. And his mom looked at me with puppy dog eyes, like, please.
I don't think she knew what was going on. She was just like, huh? What do you mean?
So that might have just been her resting face. That's it.
No, but she did, because then it was like 2 minutes later, because we were getting the photos of her like touching my tie and blah blah blah. So then she showed
photos. Yeah, good photos.
She then Mitch brought it back, and we put it in the pocket. And so my whole tux was just black on black on black, because if anyone knows me, most of my wardrobe's black. So it's kind of like a joke. Also, I just like that look.
If you're looking at Mike in the video of the podcast right now, you would see just black on black.
Yeah. Black Mike. Yeah, so Mitch, it took him maybe about a minute or 2, and we put it in, and my mom was like, that's awesome. Oh my God, thank you. How'd you do that? And then we ended up finding a pin to make sure that didn't fall apart. And that was actually really good, because it stood out against the black on black.
Yeah. So it was folded so you could see both clans, and it was like floral. It was
kind of flowered out, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
Was good.
That was actually a really nice moment. I didn't expect that. That was a nice surprise.
Me neither, bro. It was great.
That was a nice surprise.
Yeah, no, that was cool.
So what else? Eddie was the officiant.
So pre-show Eddie was what everyone expected, Eddie.
This is what because we've been in plays with him, so we've seen him pre-shows with his
backstage,
his nervous energy,
backstage, and his hey, everyone's kind of standing around. I gotta wrangle this, so let me get this energy going. I can't really define this energy, but you're just gonna go with it, and everyone's kind of looking at him like, what? And Eddie's fallback, I think, is okay. I know shock humor is pretty funny. I'm gonna go to shock humor and taint and my twat waffle and and Shakespeare for some reason.
And so I could tell it was nervous energy, because as much as Eddie's very much seems like just a carefree guy, he took this shit really seriously.
Really seriously.
He did. And so I was forgiving all the weird shit he was saying, because I knew, I was like, this is his nervous energy trying to cope.
100%.
And so that's why
you can see it, and even the build up to the days leading up to the wedding, I could tell, like, I know, like, the having Eddie do the officiant was kind of like, oh, you know, he's a friend, whatever. And then, but watching Eddie coming up to the event, he, like, how much work he put into it, how much of his energy he put into it, it was really kind of like, I don't want to say it's surprising, because that's the kind of guy Eddie is. If he, like, says he's going to do something, he will do the shit out of it.
Yeah, and I kind of, even when we picked him, almost feeling like maybe there's a little chaos there, and it might be, like, exciting. But then when we read the first draft of his speech, it was like super sincere and nice, and we were just like, oh my God, like this is great. Yeah. And then so that's why while he was spouting out his shit, a lot of times I'm just like, okay, that's fine. Just get it out. Get it out now. Get it out now.
Mike made that joke like 2 or 3 times, and it was funnier each time he said it, because Eddie kind of would go into these riffs and start like going on like a bit, and Mike, if you've seen Mike in a social situation, he has a stance where he just kind of stands there, kind of to one side, usually holding something like a cup, and he looks to his side at the person next to him that's acting crazy. So Eddie's doing his thing, and Mike's standing next to him, and Mike would say, yeah, just get it out now. Just get it out now. Do your, yeah. And I thought it was fucking hilarious, because I know Eddie's like, I'm having fun now, but I'm gonna take it serious later. That's why I'm having fun now.
Getting it all out, get all the nervous energy out. There was, I'm not sure if I think someone told you at the rehearsal dinner. So my lady, she's Jewish, and so part of the joke was that Eddie was going to be the rabbi, even though Eddie's not Jewish. And so so Erica's parents actually brought, like, I forgot what it's called, like the shawl and the yarmulke for him to wear.
Yeah. And
so at the rehearsal dinner, he started talking to her aunt, I think, who's like very Jewish, and not like very Jewish, like they follow it to the T, but like just the voice, like she's like I'm not gonna try to do an impression, but
look, with all the shit Kanye's going through right now, it's not the time.
But so I wasn't there for it, but I heard it from several different people. Everyone was like, oh my God. I guess she was like, oh, so you're the rabbi tomorrow, and he's like, yeah, and she's like, how long have you been a rabbi? Like, how long have you been Jewish? And he was like, I'm Buddhist. No. He's like, I'm Buddhist. I'm not Jewish. Eddie is Buddhist. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, I'm actually Buddhist. I'm not Jewish. I'm just a huge fan.
Oh, my God.
and
that's amazing.
And just knowing
I'm
her
just
aunt.
a huge fan.
Right. And knowing her aunt and knowing him, I guess that's when, like, Erica and, like, my friend Derek and, like, a couple of people all were like, welp, and just walked away.
Derek, I could see that. Derek's like the master of, like, okay, time to go.
This is uncomfortable. But so that line, having not heard it, but like someone telling me it, I was like, that was one of my favorite lines. I'm not Jewish, but I'm a huge fan.
I'm a huge fan. That's so funny, because I think I'm just gonna have to start saying that now, because like I truly do love the Jewish faith.
Yeah,
I'm not Jewish, but I'm a huge fan of the Jews.
Huge fan.
Yeah.
So we went to the venue. This is where it wasn't bad, but it wasn't going to plan. Is that we got to the venue?
Are we missing anything? Hang on. Are we missing anything?
In the room?
I did a sick burn on Corey's wife. It was pretty funny. I think you missed it.
I might have. I don't remember.
Corey's wife came out, and she's like seeing all us. We're like, hey, how you doing? She's like, oh my God, so good to see you guys. I'm like, you all look so good. And I said, yeah. So are you gonna change or?
I think I did hear that actually, or I heard that.
Okay, yeah. She started. Oh, it was great. Toot my own horn here, but
I heard the aftermath of it. But I remembered something about that.
Just set the evening off right.
Yeah, setting the right tone.
Establish dominance.
There you go. No, so we went to the bar, the venue, and I remember getting
some context for those of you listening that have never been. It's not like, because I feel like we had a wedding in a bar and just like that was it. So
we have a great outdoor
bar. Yeah, Mike's family's bar is actually a staple of the community. They have like regulars. The building's been there since forever, and their family is well loved. When Mike's dad passed, the whole community was rocked. No Clue Brew, by the way, having Glennie the Elder on tap, that was awesome. Yeah. That was awesome. But anyway, so they have this great bar. It's like a good established bar, private owned, not a chain or whatever. During COVID, they had this whole developed outdoorsy like section. So for their wedding, they had the ceremony outside in this outdoor thing. They moved us all inside into the bar for like the cocktail hour before, and then moved us back outside for the reception, the eating and all that kind of stuff. It was really nice. It was really great. You wouldn't know it was a bar, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, technically we're a restaurant just because of the reputation people say bar. But
yeah,
because that's a lot of people look at it as I'm going to go there to drink, but we've kind of evolved it. Okay, but still, now even though it's more accurate to say restaurant, a lot of people just still say bar out of habit. Anyway,
sure.
Anyway,
we get to the venue.
Yeah, I remember on the schedule we were supposed to get to the venue at like 3:30 when the doors opened, or like 3:45 after people started coming in. The grooves been show up. And I think we got there at like 3.
Yeah,
we got there really early to where I actually wasn't mad at it. At first, I was kind of uncomfortable. I was like, so we're just gonna like hang out like for an hour? Like, what the fuck? But it actually gave me time to walk outside. There's a few things that weren't set up right, so I kind of talked to some of my staff, and I was like, okay, this needs to happen. So it actually, I promised to keep to not work. I did promise the organizer, my now wife, that I wasn't gonna work. But since there was nothing fucking else to do for half an hour, I was like,
idle hands.
Yeah, I was like, this doesn't hurt. So it was cool. I remember Ricky pointed something out, so we moved a couple things. I was like, all right, cool. And then we went inside and we all had a beer.
No, it was great. It was great. Everyone kind of like unwinded a bit.
Yeah.
We were kind of chatting outside for a bit as people were showing up.
I think that our coordinator was like, can you go outside so people aren't lingering inside? Like, did you just go outside? Which was smart. It was smart.
And are there drinks outside too? Yes, there was.
Yes, there was. And that's when the San Diego joke began, because that's right. Our in-house manager, Courtney, I think I was sitting with Kevin. I think you might have been nearby because I know a few people heard this. Courtney came out kind of a little nervous, and she's like, hey, Tyler at the time, he's not our head cook normally, but that day he was the lead. He controlled the kitchen that day.
Okay.
He was like, Tyler is kind of freaking out because the Hawaiian rolls didn't come on the order. And I kind of laughed. Huh. And she was like, they didn't come in the order. What do you want me to do? And I was like, I was actually supposed to get those yesterday.
Oh, shit.
And she was like, so what do you want me to do? And I was like, tell Tyler we're just not having dinner rolls. I don't know. And she was like, what do we do instead? I was like, no one knows we were supposed to have dinner rolls, so we're just not going to have dinner rolls. No one's going to know we're missing them. We never wanted dinner rolls.
Yeah.
And she's like, so what do you want me to tell Tyler? And I was like, tell Tyler, no dinner rolls. And that's that.
There you go.
And that's when Kevin started saying like, yo, like we have time. It's still like half an hour. Like just have someone go get some dinner rolls. I was like, no,
I'm in San Diego.
That was when the joke came. Because I think I told him the story just before that.
Yeah. Okay.
Of how I let things go sometimes. And so it was that time I used it for the first time. I was like, no, I don't know what to tell you. I'm in San Diego. No dinner rolls. That's where I'm in San Diego came from, was when something was happening that wasn't supposed to happen. I was like, well, yeah, I'm in San Diego. Just got to roll with it.
It's going with it, yeah. So was Tyler the one that was serving the prime rib?
No. The one cutting the prime rib was Marcus.
Okay, he was awesome because he had a Broncos hat on, and we held up the line because we were chatting Broncos the whole time. It was pretty funny. But
no, so I know when I talked to Tyler about that day, initially when I thought our head cook was going to be there, I wanted Tyler to cut the meat. But since our head cook had the day off, he requested like months before. I told Tyler, I was like, so I don't want you cutting anymore since you have to kind of run the thing. And he was like, who do you want? And I was like, probably Marcus. And he's like, I was going to put Marcus out there because Marcus is the most talkative, sociable, like he wants to please people. And so it was like perfect. And everyone told me that he was awesome. So I was like, great.
He was awesome. Go Broncos.
So the ceremony happened.
So they told me what I had to do, and everyone was like, cool, like let's line up, whatever. You walked out. People started walking out.
So this is more I'm in San Diego moments.
Okay, all right.
Everything went fine actually. It turned out fine. So in the moment,
everyone made it. Everyone made it to the front. Everyone said their thing.
So the wrong song was playing.
Yeah. Erica started freaking out. So Erica was right behind me.
Okay, yeah. I forgot. Yeah, so Eddie goes out first because he's the officiant, and the song is not the one that was supposed to be playing. Pretty much, Rewrite the Stars is a song from The Greatest Showman. Yeah, Greatest Showman.
I have no idea.
Hugh Jackman. And so Rewrite the Stars is a song from that, to where we had a karaoke version, so it didn't have the words, and then I extended it to like being 9 minutes so it could take the whole bridal party.
Nice. Okay.
And we sent it to the DJ, and we figured out there was some sort of mix-up in the songs. No one's fault, just there was a mix-up. To where the wrong song was playing when Eddie walked out. And I kind of told the coordinator, I was like, I think this is the wrong song. And she's like, it is the wrong song. So from the angle, she was trying to signal to the DJ, go to the next song. And so he finally got it. So we heard the song go down. And she's like, can you hear it? And I was like, yeah, I think I can hear the song coming back on. And like, it's an instrumental, and I thought I heard it right. She's like, if it's the right song, go ahead and go. And I was like, I think it is. So I go. And it's hard to, pretty much quickly, we go down the ramp to start the whole processional. We go down a ramp, we kind of walk across the yard to where the aisle is, then go down the aisle. I'm probably at the bottom of the ramp to midway towards when we walk to the aisle, now with my mom, where I'm like, this is not the right fucking song either.
Whoops.
Yeah, I was like, but that's the whole joke. I was like, I'm in San Diego. I can't stop now.
I'm in San Diego.
We just got to go.
I love it.
We got to go. So I just walk in, and my mom kind of hurt her knee, so it was slow. And just the whole time, I just had this smile on my face because I was like, "This is already going not horrible. Like, it was a great time." But I was like, "This is already going wrong." Awesome. People in the crowd didn't know. They didn't know. It's like when things happen in theater and something goes wrong. That's what I mean earlier. Like, they didn't know what was going on. Right. So I put her. I give my mom, like, I kiss her hand. She sits down in her seat, and I stand next to Eddie.
Gay.
So gay. And Eddie's kind of like, you all right? Like, he kind of just give me a nod. And I through, like, my grin, I'm like, the wrong song's playing. and he was like, oh. Like, he kept his smile, too. He's like, oh. And I'm like, yeah. And then I realized his mic wasn't turned on, like his microphone. So I kind of pointed to it, and he turned it on. And he kind of lightly tapped it to make sure it was on. I was like, all right, cool. Yes, by the way. And second funny thing that almost happened. So Danny, his job was to walk Erica's mom down the aisle behind me. Okay. So I'm set. I'm chilling.
Danny, mom, for those of you who don't know, Danny's one of the hosts on Fake Philosophers.
Yes.
He's a good guy. Great guy.
Great guy. And so Danny walks her down. She sits down. And I forgot how long it took, but I glanced down, and her dress was kind of hanging against one of the candles that were in the aisle. Granted, we laughed about it later. We never asked for candles.
No way.
Because remember, were you there before the ceremony? All of us were laughing like someone's getting lit on fire. Like someone's knocking this over.
I pointed that out. I was like, guys, Erica probably has a pretty big train. That shit's going to light on fire.
Yeah.
Like,
so it was kind of a joke, but I found, like, because that was kind of her wheelhouse. And later we found out, like, we never asked for these candles to be on the aisle. Anyway.
Awesome.
So her mom's dress is kind of, because she's in the front row, kind of hanging against a candle. And they're not electric. They're real flames.
They're real fire.
And so I'm looking in my head's kind of going, you think of that like much faster than you talk, but in my head it's like, I could go fix this right now, but will that cause a scene and embarrass her? And then I was thinking, what if her dress catches on fire? She might be a little more embarrassed. but so I'm just kind of staring at it, because I missed most of the people walking down, because I'm just staring at the dress going, if that light's on fire, I'm going to be the fastest one to get to it. So, like, I'm just watching that.
So you're ready.
I'm just watching that.
You're ready.
And then at some point, she's, like, churning or something to where, like, her dress actually, like, drapes completely over the candle. And I was like, oh, shit. And so I don't want to say her name, but, like, so I kind of start whispering. I'll just say Erica's name. I was like, Erica. Like, hey, like, just quietly. And I was like, oh, my God, this is not good. And then, thank God, someone 2 rows back, because the row behind her was empty, kind of crawled to the row behind her and fixed her dress and was like don't move around, like, just. And so I was like, oh, thank God. Found out later there were other people in the audience also watching it.
Oh, okay.
I found out later.
You weren't the only one.
And I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
cool.
So people are walking in. I know at that point I'm watching people walk in. I'm watching Mike do something with someone's dress at the front. I couldn't tell. And no, but by this point, Erica's with us. So I'm the last one of the procession will go in. So Erica's behind me. And Erica's there. And I remember turning to her, and she's like, doing her kind of like getting into things. She wasn't nervous. She was just, kind of like, oh, man, everyone's going to be looking at me.
About to go on stage, yeah.
Yeah. And I told her, hey, Everything's great. Everything looks great. Just so you know, there are candles in the aisle. So just watch your train. Make sure, there's a little... And blew her mind. She's like, wait, what? Okay. Yeah, okay. All right.
That was her big story when she's like, I know I wasn't supposed to, but I kept looking behind me to make sure my train wasn't hitting a candle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so what ended up happening with the music, it lined up perfectly. So they played... The wrong song played when I went out. Half the processional came down. And then it switched to... Rewrite the Stars. It was the movie version with the lyrics, but it did switch to it. And then that song kind of ended right before Erica came out. So it did line up fine. And then the song that Erica wanted to be played when she walked out played, and it was all good. Audience didn't know.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then the ceremony took place, and Eddie took center stage. So to go back real quick, when Mike was talking about that, everyone was standing around, hanging out, chatting, having drinks, meeting people as they came in. Everyone was doing it except Eddie.
Yes.
Eddie was at the mic. He was next to the DJ. He was walking the scene. He was walking the set, like going through. I saw him with his little booklet out, what he was going to say, and he was going through it. The dude was rehearsing and going through every step by step. It was awesome. I looked up. I'm like, oh, he's got this. This is great. So,
he was.
Yeah.
He did a
So
great job.
the ceremony, everyone so everyone's standing. The bride walks in. She takes the stage. Mike and Erica standing at the front, and everyone sits down. And Eddie starts going into his spiel. His whole, hey, thank you everyone for being here. This is a beautiful day. Yada yada yada. Everyone be seated.
Yeah.
And everyone had been sitting. That was the biggest laugh of the night.
And the thing is, Eddie, because I remember I went to a wedding to where the pastor, the officiant, forgot to say, please be seated. And we were standing for like 5 minutes, kind of like, ooh. And finally he's like, oh my God, yeah, please sit down. Everyone sit down. So I remember we told them we told Eddie, like, make sure that's in there. And so he made sure it was in there. And it was funny when he started talking and everyone sat down. I remember thinking, I was like, I wonder if he's still going to say it. And Eddie said it with such this fucking, almost dripping with sarcasm. He was like you said, very happy. A beautiful day. This is going to be amazing. Lovely couple. Please be seated. And looked down, and everyone, it got a good laugh. Everyone kind of laughed.
That was great. I was losing it. I was losing my shit. Granted, I was like 2 whiskeys in by that point, but
sure.
I loved it. Yeah. So, okay. I had a question for you. No, I won't go there yet. I'm skipping ahead. No. I loved. I've never been to a wedding where this happened. So this is the first time I've ever seen this, and I loved it. Mike and Erica wrote each other's vows. As in, yes. Mike wrote the vows that Erica was going to read to Mike.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Did you guys see that somewhere, or have you seen that before? Or,
no.
Because that was amazing.
So, not to toot my own horn.
Okay.
I came up with that. So, years ago, I thought of this idea. It's so unique, so original. What if a grown man did the flower girl duty? And I remember thinking, that's so original. And sure enough, there's tons of videos online of them doing it. And I was like, okay, I'm still going to do that, because immediately I thought Kevin would be great at it. And he was. He was amazing at it.
Yeah. It was so awesome.
Yeah, but I remember I was like, oh, so it's not original. And I kind of like doing something that other people don't do.
Yeah.
And so I don't remember exactly when I thought of that. I think it was, SNL, I think it's Colin Jost and Michael Che when they do Weekend Update.
That's what I thought of when they write each other's jokes.
Yeah, at the end of every season, they write each other's jokes, and they never see them until they have to read them. I think it might have been that, to where I was like, that could be something. I think it was that I kind of was like, that could be something. I don't really remember when I thought of it, but I'm assuming that might have been it.
Brilliant.
And so I ran it past her, and I was like, this could be funny. And you're good. What she said in return was like, you write. So yeah, yours that you write for me will be funny. I don't write like that. And so she was kind of nervous about it. And even like going to the weeks leading up to it, it was not like for sure going to happen. She wasn't sure about it.
Oh, wow.
So that was kind of like an asterisk. And then it was the week of, she doesn't watch it, so I don't have to worry. I didn't write mine till like 2 days before. But I remember the week of, I was like, so are we doing this, or should we like tell Eddie just do regular vows or what? And she's like, you know what? I think same thing. She's like, it is original idea. I've never seen someone do that. So yes, we're going to do it. Like, I'm still struggling with it, but like we're gonna do it. And I was like, okay. And that's when I was like, oh shit, I haven't written mine yet. I haven't written mine.
Oh shit, yeah.
No,
well,
so
that was so good because
yeah, go on.
She read the vows you wrote, and they were hilarious because like it's kind of the duality of the writer and the performer. Mm-hmm. If you have a really good one or the other, the whole thing will work pretty well. So you wrote these like pretty freaking hilarious vows that you made Erica swear before God that she will do, which was really funny. And then the one she gave you, there were moments I remember when you were like, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip ahead. And it was pretty great. It was pretty great. And there was a moment, if I remember right, that you went off script and you started saying something.
So she got permission ahead of time, and she actually asked me, do you want to know what it says? And I was like, no, whatever it is, I'll figure it out. She put like, I knew I was in love with you when, parentheses, improvised story.
Oh wow! Okay,
so
you told a story.
It was pretty much the day I met her was what I
being an assistant stage manager, and and you went through this whole thing and how you saw this cute girl in this red shirt and yada yada yada, and you finished it up, and it was so like I knew it must have been improv because you looked right at not improv but like come up with on the spot because you looked right at her. Yeah. While you were saying it, you didn't look down, and when you finished, and everyone's like, "Oh," and she turned to the audience, like, "I didn't write that."
Yeah. Well, the first day I didn't know I loved her, but it sounded good.
It sounded great.
And then the last one after that was pretty much just parentheses. Tell me how much you love me. And so that's when I was like, "I love you to the moon, babe. I'll kill for you. I'll fucking murder everyone here."
So, I was telling my wife Anna. On the ride home, my favorite part of the ceremony, besides the please be seated bit, was when we'll go back to the hand tying thing.
Yeah.
But when Eddie was doing the do you Michael take this thing, and he went through the whole speech, and there was this moment where you were looking at him and you're like, do you want me to repeat after you? Or what are we doing here? Are you supposed to wait and stop and let me say a phrase? Because I'm not going to repeat all of this. But you had this great look on your face that's like, are you serious? Wait, should we stop? Should we stop? Wait, should we stop and go back? Or
a couple people told me that they thought that like I was looking confused. Like, do I have to say all of this after?
Right.
So that wasn't it.
Okay.
So we had said like, we're not going to repeat it. You're just going to say the whole thing. Yes, I do.
Oh, okay, cool.
What ended up happening, and again, this is where the rehearsal we probably could have done a little better. No one's fault. So Ricky was right behind me. In the moment, he said, so we're going to do the whatever the fuck it's called, the I do's. And I forgot, so he says, first, name. And so I reached, and Ricky was offering the rings, and I was like, whose name did he say?
Oh.
So I just grabbed, for those of you who don't know or care to care, so Erica pretty much had her engagement ring on. And I guess it could be a tradition that instead of getting a whole new ring, you can get like 2 small rings or another ring to complement it.
Oh, okay.
So that's what she got. And so what you wear day to day is 2 different rings that are on either side of the engagement ring that don't have like rocks on them. So I guess at the ceremony, I didn't know this. You're only supposed to take one and slide it on. So in the moment... And this is not Ricky's fault, obviously. Ricky just opened his hand that had all the rings in them. I didn't even remember who, because I'm just going to hand my ring to her to put on me, you know? So I just forgot whose fucking ring I'm supposed to grab. I reach for...
Oh, no.
So I start reaching for mine, and I forgot what Ricky said. It was something like... I think he meant to say, like, just take one, because he knew. But I thought he said, like, wrong one. So I just grabbed both of hers and turned around... and took her hand, and that's when I was like, I hope I grabbed the right fucking rings. So I was just kind of staring at Eddie like, whose name are you about to say? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And to this day,
I get it now. Okay.
To this day, it's a week later, I honestly don't know if he actually started with her, or with me, excuse me, or her.
No, he started with you. I remember.
So maybe I grabbed my ring and gave it to her, and was just like, I hope I grabbed the right shit. Either way,
okay,
because you're right. But either way, in my head, I was like, did he actually mean to start like this, or did he see me take the wrong ring and fix it.
Regardless, that face that you put on, that look you get on your face, is rare. It doesn't happen that often. It's when you're witnessing something that's going very wrong, or you just do not understand what is happening. Because you often have a good handle on the situation. So for you to be like not kind of like knowing what's happening, you get this great look on your face, and it makes my day. But anyway,
so it was literally me holding or her holding my hand. I forgot who went first again.
The audience could definitely tell. So
good. No, it was literally just me going, I hope I grabbed the right ring, and it turns out I did. Again, I'm not sure if that was improvisation on Eddie's part that he saw I took the wrong. I don't know. But that was the look where I was like, I hope I grabbed the right ring.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So then you guys did the hand. Well, before this, you did the hand tying, the hand fast.
Hand fast.
Okay, yeah. Which is a Celtic tradition, correct?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's specifically Scottish, but it's definitely Celtic.
Because I mean, I figure anything with a knot, it's probably Celtic. If it involves ropes or knots, it's probably Celtic. But
yeah,
I'd never seen one. That was awesome. I kind of loved it. And you know, so if those of you who don't know. And Mike, you can correct me after I finish this shit.
Sure.
But they had the bridal party come in, and each one share a 5-second. So you're talking about one sentence, maybe two if you're quick, memory about the couple, and something. It could be either loving about them. If you don't know them both, then the one you do know. Mm-hmm. So every one of the bridal party came in, guys and girls, and said something great. And as they said it, they laid this rope or sash or whatever on their hands. So Mike and Erica had their hands clasped, and they laid the rope on their hands in a certain kind of way. And I'm like, oh, they're not really tying it. What the fuck is going on? And so everyone goes through, they say their thing, and then at the end of it, Eddie said some cute shit, and then Mike and Erica pulled their hands away and grabbed the rope, and as they did, it tied all the ropes tied into a knot. And me, who had never seen one before, I was like a 10-year-old at a magic show, like, what the fuck? That was so cool. Dude, the thing. And my wife, who'd seen one before, was like, yeah, hey, calm down. God damn it.
This is normal. Yeah, that was cool. So like, yeah, to give some context, so I remember, because I was looking up Scottish traditions that were like doable, because there were some that I was like, I'm not doing that shit. Just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, no.
The whole prima nocta thing. Yeah, we're not doing that.
Reenacting Braveheart. I was like, no, we're good.
Yeah, no.
But so I found that one. I was like, oh, this is kind of cute, and I looked it up. And one of the demonstration videos I watched, the guy it was like a couple as models, and he was doing it. And he's like, so if you're using this kind of material, you could do like this many ropes on it. If you're using this kind of material, blah, blah, blah. And he kind of said, so if I'm the pastor could just do it. And he kind of gave some different options. He's like, when he's done, you could say something nice before you pull it. And so that's when with our planner, we're talking about what can we do so we're not sitting for however long, 2 minutes in silence. How can we put something on it? And we threw around a couple different ideas. And the original idea was that each person in the wedding party was going to have their own, they call them cords. And we were like...
Cords,
yeah. And I was like, that's 14 cords. That's going to be way too fucking thick. It's not going to work. And it's going to take forever. So that's when we decided, like, okay, each corresponding couple in the bridal party, since the men are wearing suits, like, they'll start with it. They'll put it on. They'll do the first loop, because I think it's 2 loops total. They'll do the first loop, share their 5-second memory. Then the bridesmaid will then take it, do the second loop, share their 5-second memory. And that way it kind of goes smoothly. Another happy accident.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah, so even though it's really typical, Ed Sheeran Perfect, that song, for some reason, like, Eric and I just think of each other. I forgot how it happened. So she wanted that song right, but she wanted that song to play under it. And I was kind of thinking, like, maybe, you know, some bagpipes, like some nice bagpipe music under it. And she's like, oh, whatever, like, see what you can find. Yeah. And I was like, let's see what the internet has. YouTube. Ed Sheeran Perfect Bagpipes. And bam! Full list of all these people who did it.
No!
And I was like, oh, fuck it. I was like, sweet. And so she literally, we had the conversation, and she went to get ready for bed. And she came back, and I was like, hold on, stand over there, and I played it. And within, like, 30 seconds, she's like, oh, it's fucking perfect. Like, no pun intended. But she was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, fucking, yes. Bagpipes, Ed Sheeran Perfect. Boom. And I downloaded it, and I sent it to the DJ. I was like, that's what we're doing.
Love it.
Not sure who noticed it, but yeah.
That's the shit. No, but you guys noticed, and that's what it's all about. And it's like, oh, I love it.
And then, so the actual knot, during the rehearsal. We did it twice, and it was fucking off. It did not work either way. So that's why when we pulled it at the ceremony and like it worked, I was like, oh fuck, good.
It's a sign.
Yeah. And then the idea is, so now that knot, like we still have it, and you're supposed to like frame it, or you keep it pretty much. It's like a symbol.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. That's so cool.
So it worked.
So cool.
Yeah.
Good ceremony, and then they kissed, and then they were married. Everyone walked out, and that was that. Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah. Reception. Everyone just kind of did their own thing. Like they had a couple local microbrews set up, and it was great. Mm-hmm. Because they just gave you beer. I walked up and they just gave me a beer.
Yeah, that was kind of the theme, where it was kind of like beer / brewery themed. Because even the table numbers weren't table numbers. They were like, we had tap handles and they were like breweries.
Yeah.
So like it was kind of themed that way. And then like no clue.
Okay.
Yeah, go on.
I saw the tap handles on all the tables. Mm-hmm. And I thought, okay, he's making use of all that shit he has lying around his house. You know, he just like, but, you know.
And, of course, she picked ones that were already mounted. So I actually got worried for a second, because, like, you go to a lot of weddings, like, they'll say, like, take a centerpiece. Just take it. And I was like, these people better not take my fucking handles. Like, that's part of my collection. And they didn't. We got them all back. It was fine.
Is that why you littered the tables with hot sauce? As like a... take these instead kind of thing?
Well, so that was just because we've talked about the wing competition that we do. And so that was kind of a nod to that, because that one in particular was like the best one I've ever made. So she was like, I already bought the bottles. Good. Yeah, you have to make gallons of this. And I was like, oh, God damn it.
It's so good.
And I still have gallons.
I tried the one that was at my space. I was like, okay, this is fucking good. I need, and it's like, oh, we got 2. I'm like, fucking sweet. When we were leaving, we grabbed like 3 or 4 of them as we were leaving, because like people like off of empty tables, but we were like, they're not taking them. We'll take them.
No, they left a bunch. Erica took a bunch to her coworkers a couple days later. Like they left a bunch, and I still have like 2 containers in my fucking fridge.
Oh my God! Like ship them to me, because like we're making tacos tomorrow, and tacos tomorrow. I'm gonna use all of it. It's gonna be so good.
Yeah, I'll ship it to you. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, so the breweries. I think I may have mentioned it in the past. When my father died in 2017, no clue. I have a good relationship with them, and my dad's favorite style is Hefeweizen. So when he died, they started making that beer strictly for the restaurant, for the bar. Yeah. And so that's it's like, okay, it's like instead of a memorial table, it's a memorial beer. Yeah. That was kind of the idea.
Yeah.
So then they had their Smog City came out. They didn't really have a memorial beer, but they still came out. And then Hop Secret is another brewery where I'm really tight with them. They didn't make the beer for him, but they had a peanut butter stout. And then did you ever meet Jesse? I forgot.
I might have met him at the wedding. I don't know if I met
him before. He's dead.
Jesse, your friend Jesse. No, I never met him. But no, they had the peanut butter.
Yeah, so his favorite style of beer was peanut butter stout, and they had one.
That's right.
So they did have one. Right. Theirs was called tongue butter, but so because we didn't have time for them to brew something specific, we just kind of picked that one, and we're like, that'll be the memorial beer for Jesse, because that's his favorite style. So that was kind of a good pick. Cool. And then they renamed. So cool. Yeah, they renamed it. We renamed it J-Bone Butter, because that was his nickname. So
my God!
So instead of a memorial table, it was memorial beers.
I'm gonna cry. That was like the sweetest thing.
Yeah, it's better than a memorial table. That's the way we looked at it.
Way better. Everyone was just drinking them in. It was great.
Yeah. So
I know. I think my wife had the peanut butter, and she really liked it. So, and I had about 3 or 4 of the Glenny the Elders. It was really good.
Yeah, that elder went pretty quick. We didn't kick the keg.
Stone was there with a Pilsner. I had some of that too.
That was Smog City. Good. They had a Stone.
Oh, Smog City.
They had a Stone jockey because that's their distributor, but it was Smog City.
Gotcha. Okay. Mm-hmm. That asshole. He was like, "Hey, Stone, you want a Pilsner?" I'm like, "All right."
He's trying to get rid of it. No, so it was fun.
The table my wife and I were at was really cool. I sat next to Matt, who I haven't seen in fucking forever. Got to catch up with that. That was so cool, chatting with him and his wife. Eddie,
probably one of the nicest guys in the world too, Matt.
Seriously, one of the nicest guys, and like he could be telling you how much he hates you, but he'll do like so nicely. It's great. But Eddie was at our table, and truly, you don't sit at your table; you go around and talk to everybody. It was great. Yeah. Mike and Erica had this cool 360 light thing that revolved around you and took your picture or some shit.
So I did it. I had to fight for that.
You had to fight for that.
Not. So it was at first. It was because like a bartender of mine did a private event, and on her Instagram, I saw that, and I was like, "That's pretty fucking cool." And I was like, "That's pretty fucking cool." And so I brought it up to her, and I showed her, and she's like, "That is pretty cool." And so we looked it up, and it was, without giving numbers out, a little more expensive than your typical photo booth.
Oh.
And so she was like, "I'm not sure if it's worth it." And I was like, "But it's cool and it's different, and I think people would have fun doing it." And then, much to my, what's the opposite of dismay? Surprise. She went and just booked it.
Oh, cool.
So I was like, oh, because at one point we were like planning the layout, and she's like, "So where are we putting the 360 booth?" And I was like, "The what now?" And she was like, "The 360 booth. Where are we putting it?" I already I already booked it. And I was like, "Oh shit!" And so,
oh, how cool! I think she likes you, bro.
I hope she does. Or else she spent a lot of money for nothing.
There were some good speeches. I loved your sisters. They did like a tandem speech.
Yeah.
Mike's two sisters went up, and at first, because I couldn't, where I was sitting, I couldn't see them.
Yeah,
so all I could do was hear them. And I did not know. It wasn't until like a minute into it that I realized it was actually two people talking, going back and forth. Mm-hmm. And so that was awesome. Like, so Mike's sisters were going back and forth talking about you and Erica, and it was really good. Danny made a great speech too, and it was just really good, really good. Everyone really loves you too.
Yeah, what I liked about it, and this is my own pet peeve, going to weddings, even not my own weddings, just weddings, even as a groomsman, and there's certain things that just always fucking annoyed me. Like one, granted, I guess people still did it at the grand entrances when the groomsmen and the bridesmaids have to do these silly fucking dances.
Yeah.
As a groomsman, that's always been super cringy to me. I'm always like, what do I fucking do? So I remember I was telling some of the guys, like, oh, by the way, like, you guys don't have to do that. And they're like, well, our bridesmaids already made us, so.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, well, you don't have to, but I'm not gonna.
So I walked in with Eddie and Kevin, the flower man. And we decided we're just going to walk in, we're going to toast the audience and walk out. So we avoided all that shit.
Perfect, so. Yeah. But so they're like that. And then one thing I've always hated previously in other ceremonies is like when the groom and or the groomsmen are like forced to dance, and you could tell they don't really want to dance. And so they look like... What?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Sorry, our Zoom connection, I think, kind of skipped.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. But yeah, so... I think it was Corey's wedding that granted Corey was having a good time, but like he was going out there and dancing, and I'm not sure if he wanted to, but like you could tell it was like white boy, like not really comfortable dancing, and I was like, he doesn't look like he's having fun at this point. So what was nice about this was that there was no pressure like that on me. Like we did the opening dance, we had the group shot, and then we did the opening dance. I danced with her then, and then from there it was just like I just went out and started socializing, just talking to people, chilling, drinking. And then her one request was the last song of the night, you have to dance with me. And I was like, that's fine. Deal.
Yeah.
Deal. And yeah, so like that as small as it is, like it was nice that like it wasn't like, come on, Mike, go dance, it's your wedding. It's like I just was chilling and hanging out.
It was your day. You did your thing.
Yeah.
It is funny. There was one moment during the dance. This was great. If you ever go to a wedding, try to go to a wedding where there's a lot of theater people. Just do it, or just a few theater people. Just do it once in your life. You owe it to yourself. Because at one point during the night, the DJ played I don't know the name of the song, but it was a swing dance style, oldies swing dance style kind of song. And everyone's like out on the stage, and like most of them, I'm saying most of everyone was like modern, kind of like, oh, this is cool, the old edgy, swing dance kind of song. But peppered throughout the crowd are these random theater couples that are doing perfect swing dance to this fucking song. And Matt, the guy I was sat with, and his wife were doing just this great swing dance.
I'm sure they were killing
it. They were killing it. Eddie had it down. I think I saw one of your sisters dancing pretty good at it too. So there was a few like there that was just nailing the swing dance. It was pretty great.
No, yeah. That's definitely a theater thing. One thing I don't know for sure, because I feel like I would have heard it and gotten angry. Did he play Bohemian Rhapsody?
I did not hear it. If he did, I did not hear it.
Because
it might have been an after party.
It was just
thing.
now. I was like, I don't remember ever hearing it, and I don't think I put it on the no playlist. I would have, but I didn't.
You would have.
And so, but he never played it. Makes sense. I mean, you don't really just play it, but I remember at one point I was like, oh, good. I didn't hear that song tonight.
Not to point fingers, but if anyone did, Lauren would have been the one to request it. But
probably.
Yeah, it was funny because me and my wife were on East Coast time. We had to fly out at 6 the next morning, which means we had to be at the airport early. So the whole day we're like, oh man, we are not looking forward to Sunday because we're going to be there until they're done. Like I'm like so excited. I'm going to have a great time and I'm not going to think about Sunday. It's going to be all about Saturday. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, dude, you're going to be miserable.
You can't help
but
think about it. You can't help but think about it.
Yeah. Right. So we're like, okay, the party's going to be going till 1 a.m. It's going to be fucking lit and we're going to just hate ourselves Sunday, whatever. Well, Saturday night at the wedding, right around 10 p.m. or so, everyone's kind of like, all right, I think we're going home.
Yeah, so the idea was at 10 p.m. we close outside. That way there's not noise in the neighbors, blah, 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 blah. We close outside, and then there's a quote-unquote after party inside, and that way the crew can clean up outside while we're inside. And so we thought that at 10 p.m., all the family members, the parents, the aunts, the uncles, the old folk, would go home, and then it's like those of us in our 30s and 20s kind of partying. And as you just said, what ended up happening, I want to say like by 10:30 or 11, there was maybe like 20 people in there. And it was like, everyone just fucking left. It was like, oh, okay.
I was like, had a great time, love it, and I think I'm going to go to bed. That sounds great.
Yeah, it was just, I remember thinking, I was like, oh, like I genuinely thought like people were going to stay, like when I say younger, like the 30s and the 20s, we're going to stay till like 11:30, and then at 12 o'clock we had planned to close. And I think it was like 11:45, like the last shuttle was leaving, and there was only like 3 people there, and I was like, oh, wow, okay.
All right. Do you think that's because like at around it, like when you're in your 20s, there's that fear of missing out. Like you stayed out. Like I know I definitely stayed out much longer than I should have because I just didn't want to miss anything. I wanted to be a part of it. And then now I'm at that age where I'm like, I think I've seen everything. I think I'm good. Like I know that nothing but shit I've seen before. I'm just gonna regret it if I just stay out. So I'm gonna go home. Kind of.
That makes sense. I guess and I'm not mad about it, but I guess in my head, it was gonna be more like. The reception was kind of the formal thing, even though our reception was not very formal. Like everyone was relaxed, having a good time, drinking. But I felt like the after party was kind of like where there's no more rules anymore. Now you can loosen your tie. Now you can do that. And so, like I said, I wasn't mad about it. But like, yeah, everyone pretty much was like, oh, it's over. And just like kind of dipped. And so, yeah, I think it was like 11:30. I was like, oh, everyone literally just fucking left.
Fuck you then. I don't care.
It was whatever. And then like, so... one of the guys that was there, he's like, I'll buy you a beer. Because at that point, like, nothing was on our tab anymore. And I just remember I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this. And there was a beer, like a canned beer that, it didn't go bad, but it was like kind of starting to like, it was been on the shelf for a while. And I was like, I'll contribute to the bar and start clearing this out. So I just had like 3 of those, kind of move it on the shelf.
Yeah.
No, it was, everyone, I was very humbled. A lot of people did say like, really good time. Blast, like the ceremony was very unique and fun. The vow thing got very good feedback.
Nice.
Which then in my ego I was like good.
So one of your sisters I had met a few times. Like one was at the Wings competition, and I'd like chatted with her for a bit. Your other sister, I actually introduced myself, and she's like, "Yeah, no, we've met before." And I was like, "Really? When did we meet?" And like, so your other sister, I had not met before. Well, that night we actually got to chat like quite a bit, and I got to get to know her, and she's like awesome. She's awesome, and God, she loves you. It's like gross.
I hope they do. Jeez.
It was really cool. It was really cool. So getting to connect with a lot of people.
Yeah. No, but I thought the vibe was cool. Like I said, I wasn't pressured into doing anything. I kind of got yelled at because I was late to toast. But no, like there was one point where I was sitting at I think it was actually Jeremy's table that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
I was sitting with him, this guy DJ we know, I've mentioned him before. He's like an improv guy. And this guy Will, who doesn't know.
Oh, he was there. I didn't
DJ
meet
was
him.
there. Mm-hmm.
Damn it. Oh, that was my opportunity. Okay.
But so I sat down at their table. So I put this guy Will, who I know, which Will was one of the few people who came in literally not knowing anyone but me and Erica. But he's taking acting classes just for fun, for his own enjoyment. And so I sat him with Jeremy and DJ, and we sat there and we were having a conversation. Like, it's my fucking wedding. I should be celebrating, but we're having a conversation. Like, I'm connecting Will to DJ. Like, hey, he acts. Like, so we're sitting there just like talking about fucking acting in theater and shit. And
network.
But it was fun though. Like, that's what I wanted, where I could just go around and chat with people, not like, oh hi, thanks for coming, bye. And like, it was nice. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. I didn't know that you had met that Jeremy had worked on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I remember when I during the cocktail hour before the reception, I turned to my wife. I'm like, oh, I got to introduce you to Jeremy. He's one of those local community guys that is just too damn talented for his own good. Just way too talented. He's like some of the best acting I've ever seen from Jeremy. And so I go over and introduce him and talk to him, and he's like, yeah, I did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I'm like, oh shit. Mike talks about that, how the guy broke a bottle on stage and they just like cleaned it up and went with it. And he's like, oh yeah. And so your little anecdote of
it was like confirmed.
Broke the ice.
I didn't make it up.
It broke the ice. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So Jeremy. So Jeremy was my understudy
cool
in Cuckoo's Nest. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool seeing him. He's a good guy.
No, yeah, like I said, that one wedding the week before, he was great. Yeah.
But
that was the wedding.
Anything else?
So 1 to 5, what would you give the wedding on Yelp?
I'd give it I'd truly give it a 5. I had a great time. Nothing bad to say. The food was good.
The
drinks were great. Company was awesome. The seating, the arrangement, everything. The ceremony was good. And the ceremony was good. The reception was better, and that's how it should be. Like, everyone's climbing. Like here for the ceremony, like, yeah, cool. Let's get to the marriage thing. I mean, I'm sure what was going through your mind, right? It's like, let's get through this. I want to be married.
Yeah, well, that's what going up to it, and even the day of, I kind of channeled it in that whole like, whatever happens, happens. Because in the back of my head, as I said in the previous podcast, I've said this before. This is a true story.
True story.
I've been with her for 10 years. We've lived together for 5 to 6 years, I think. So really, that kind of just settled in. I was like, and don't get me wrong, and she doesn't watch this, so I'm not going to get in trouble. But there was a point, I think it was maybe at the rehearsal, where I did kind of think, none of this shit really matters. But like in a good, but I was like, so why am I going to stress about it anymore? Because I was very stressed the last couple months because of reasons.
Sure.
And I think that's what settled in with me on the rehearsal thing, and the whole I'm in San Diego thing was just, none of this shit matters.
Do you stress about it the same way you stress about like a wings competition or a Friendsgiving or something, in that in the big picture, it doesn't matter, but because it's an event and you want it to go great, do you think that's part of it?
Maybe like the wings things and like a Friendsgiving thing, it's all, there's no consequences. Whereas I think in a, and not that you and your lady would have been different, but like you guys weren't together nearly as long as Eric and I. And so I feel like your wedding felt more consequential in a sense. Not that if something went wrong, you'd get immediately divorced, but it is more, you know what I'm saying? Like it feels heavier because it's sooner. And even one of my sisters, her wedding was like that because they had only dated for like 9 months when he proposed, and they're still together and everything. But so the fact, I think that's what settled in on me during the rehearsal was, I've been with her for 10 years. We've lived together for 5+ years. Everything at this wedding can go fucking wrong, and I'm just going to laugh at it because it doesn't matter.
We've already faced all the challenges.
Exactly.
Or most of the challenges that most married couples go through. So whatever.
Yeah,
what are we really getting ready for?
And I think that's what settled in. So hypothetically, if her mom's dress caught on fire, okay, we would have went over, patted it out. All right, everybody, we're good. Back on track. If whatever would have happened, I think that's what settled in was like, I'm just going to laugh when things go wrong because it doesn't matter. Yeah. Like we're
part of me,
it's going to be fine. Yeah.
Part of me wishes the dress caught on fire because that'd be pretty awesome.
I mean, it would have been a story, and I like I like having the stories. And so I think that's what was kind of funny. Like I said, planning a big event is stressful, especially with just working out all the details. But I think that was, I'm repeating myself, but that moment I realized none of this shit matters.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, we're still going to be together. We're still going to live together.
Yeah.
Like minus
we're
something.
We're gonna sign the damn papers. There's the witness. There's the
and that's like minus something catastrophic happening. Like I punch her dad out or something. Like nothing's gonna change. And I didn't do that.
Oh, her dad's speech was so sweet, though.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
So no, that's kind of, I think, my attitude going into it. I don't think I found the words till right now. Was pretty much like, I'm just going to laugh. This doesn't matter. And I think...
In a good way. It doesn't matter, but in a good way.
In a good way. And I remember there was two professors. One I kind of knew, one I didn't. Talking about like community theater and college theater. One of them, this was at Chafee when I was young. He was a professor at Chafee just cameoing in Greece as like the... was it Fontaine, the DJ guy who comes and he kind of like preys on Marty?
I think so.
Anyway, he's just a professor who cameoed. And I remember in the dressing room, I still remember this shit. He was just dressing up. He's not getting paid for it. He's just like having fun. He's not even a fucking actor, you know? And he just like puts his shit on. Or I think he acted when he was younger. But anyway. And I just still remember he's like, if I was your age, I'd live for this shit. And he walked out. And I remember as a 19-year-old, it just hit me like, fuck yeah. Like, is all this, the theater drama. I just was like, yeah. Like, why? That's amazing. Like, that's such a...
It all just fizzles away.
Point, yeah. And another professor when I went to UNLV, I didn't really like this guy. But he had a lot of gems. And one gem he had, and I think this applies to the wedding, and in addition to the other one, but I think he said, he's like, a lot of people at this university and other universities, they treat each play like it's Broadway, as if they're going to be remembered for it for years to come. Not realizing that once they leave this school, most people are going to forget about it and never talk about them again.
Yeah.
And he said, and that's a good thing for you, because you shouldn't stress so much.
Yeah, that's a great point.
And so that kind of mindset going into the wedding, I think, is kind of, granted, people are hopefully still going to remember us and all that shit, but going into it, it was just kind of like, this doesn't matter. That was the point he made. I was like, this doesn't matter. We're going to be together. Like, it's fine. And that's where
it's a great way. It's a great way of like letting go of anything bad that might happen, but hanging on to all the good that is going to happen.
Exactly.
Kind of thing.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of young people, when they get married, they expect it like, I'm going to have a perfect life now that I'm married, so my wedding is going to be perfect to reflect that perfect life I'm going to have.
It needs to be. Yeah.
It needs to be. So they look for the things that go wrong, whereas people who get married later in life, who have just a little bit more wisdom, and be like, you know what? The good's already set. The future's already certain. Yeah. Any bad that happens is just, whatever. It happens.
Yeah. And then, so an example of that, and actually this is one of my favorite fucking wedding stories. Did you get to meet Carmen and Matt?
Not sure.
No, they were just guests. They weren't in the party or anything. But
I met a Matt. He was next to me, sitting at my table.
Of course. Yeah. No, but so Carmen and Matt, Danny and I went to their wedding. Unfortunately, Eric at the time, she didn't, because of confusion, she didn't go, but we went, and it was at a community center. Like a lot of people have their weddings at community centers, and it was just after the ceremony. We were sitting down. I think they might have been taking photos. I forgot what happened, but someone in the community center elsewhere pulled a fire alarm.
No.
So, code, you have to leave the building. A fire truck has to come. They have to clear it. So Carmen is one of the coolest fucking people you'll ever meet. If she's watching this or listening, I said it out loud. We've all said it behind your back. We would never say it to your face, Carmen.
I heard it.
And so I still remember, like, if that would have happened to my sister, she would have lost her shit. My sister was a bridezilla, and a lot of brides would have. What ends up happening is, so we all have to clear out. Some people snuck a couple beers in their pockets. So Carmen is just kind of like, all right, well, we're outside now. So the fire truck pulls up, and Carmen's like, oh, hey, her husband, Matt, come here. And they start taking their wedding photos in front of the fucking fire truck.
Oh, I love it.
Carmen was just going with it. She was like, whatever. And so they start taking the photos. And so then a couple months later, they have a barbecue. So we go over to their house for a barbecue. And that's the photos they have over their fireplace.
I love it.
Yeah. And I was just like, that's fucking cool. And she's like, yeah, like you just have to, that's her attitude. She's like, you have to just roll with it. What am I going to do? Fucking flip out? Get pissed off?
You have to make lemonade, man.
Yeah, and so
lemonade.
It was just great. And I still tell that story to the day. And I think I tried to just go in with that attitude of like, whatever happens, happens. Just go with it.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
That's the coolest thing ever. Oh.
All right. Well.
Oh, my God. We're over 2 hours. Yeah. But
close. We'll just end it on that story. That's a good story. And yes, very, very happy you came out with your lady for the weekend.
It was so awesome. I wish we could do it every weekend.
Yeah,
That's a lie. I don't wish I could do that every weekend.
Not the flight, at least. Yeah.
No, the next Monday was fun. I was telling I don't know if I mentioned it, but I was on East Coast time and I was waking up at 6 a.m. every day. So in California, I woke up at 3 a.m. ready to go. Like, let's go to work. And it was fun. But yeah, anyway. No, but it was so much fun. It was so much. We were flying home like bummed out. We were legitimately bummed out, like, because it was just a great time. We loved everyone. Everyone was just happy, and yeah, it was a great time.
Very, very blessed and fortunate.
Yeah.
And on that note,
all right. Hey,
unless you have a question,
have a good week, everybody.
Yes, everyone. Hopefully this wasn't too long. Hopefully you enjoyed reliving it with us.
And happy Thanksgiving.
And happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If we don't see you. All right. Bye.
See you later.